Recording. All right, guys, so we're going to start this call. My name is Melissa Herreria. We're going to be talking about nutrition principles for Beachbody coaches. But before I get started, there are some people we need to congratulate. So here we go. I just got all of the names. I don't even know who you guys are, so I'll be just as surprised. Okay, so in the 300 Club, we have Charlie Gallipoli, Heather Boger-Hooker, Asia Kaki. It's a long list. Alexa Correa, Fidelma Bartley, Lindsay Dagerhart, Morgan Heyman, Kelly Rose, and Catherine Nicholas. Congratulations. That's awesome. And then we have some superstars in the 500 Club. Laura Stevens, Darlene Cabreja Taveras, and Ayman Dowdali. Sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly, but I will ask you how to pronounce it correct so I don't mess up in the future. And then we have some rank advancements. So yay to that. We have Ana Escoto, who rank advanced to Emerald. Congratulations for that. That is a big step in your business, and we're very excited for you. Can't wait to see what you have coming in the future. And then a huge rank advancement to Diamond. Efren Hernandez, congratulations. Welcome to the Diamond Legend Life. We all just welcomed him earlier this week, and we're very excited that he has rank advanced and is here to join us and share with us and whatever he's been teaching his team to teach us, everything that he's been doing. So we're so excited for Efren. Okay, so let me share my screen. I made a fancy presentation because my coach Miviam taught me how to use Prezi. So I think you guys can see this. I hope you guys can see this because I can't see you. Yes. Let me see, hold on. Let me see some head nods. Yes, okay, cool. All right, good. So, first of all, let me introduce myself, right? And then our topic. So, my name is Melissa Herreria. I am a group fitness instructor. I don't like how this looks, but I'm a group fitness instructor. I am also a certified personal trainer. This past year, I became a certified fitness nutrition specialist, also through the American Council on Exercise. And I am a 2-star diamond qualifying coach. I am the founder of the Limitless Army, and I've been a coach for about 2.5 years. So what I wanted to talk about in this presentation is not so much nutrition in the sense of, what a nutritionist or a dietitian would do, because we're not those things. We're coaches. But what I wanted to do was kind of put together some information to help us all understand a little bit more about nutrition in order to help our clients. Because unlike some of the other businesses in the weight loss industry, Beachbody is very different. We don't promote a pill that's going to make you lose weight, shred, and get abs in like 5 days. We don't promote drinking 5 shakes a day. We don't promote putting some oils on your body and voila, you lose weight. We promote a balanced way of losing weight and maintaining your weight, which is through nutrition, through those guides that come with our programs, and through exercise. And as business owners, we bought into this business and into this way of life, right? So in order for us to help some of our customers who maybe have tried some of the other weight loss tools, and will come to you and say, yeah, but in the past I drank, I ate 600 calories and I lost like 50 pounds. And of course, in your head, you're like, well, then why are you here? You gained those 50 pounds and then some back. But instead, you don't want to come off, rude like that. So you want to be able to come off with some education as to why we are different and why we have a very special place in the weight loss industry, but also, everything that comes behind that challenge pack. So I don't like how this Prezi is working for me. Boom. There we go. Okay. So just for us to understand this a little bit better, as coaches, we are not expected to be doctors, nurses, nutritionists, dietitians, pharmacists, etc. Like I mentioned, we bought into a business that sells weight loss and weight management tools. And we're lucky that Beachbody Corporate hires these people. They hire the dietitians, they hire the nutritionists, they hire the scientists and the doctors and everybody to figure this all out for us. And it comes together beautifully in this nicely colored package for us to offer our clients. So as coaches, you can't act as a nutritionist. One thing I see people wanting to do, because clients will ask them, like your challengers will ask you for this, is we can't create meal plans that are not based off of Beachbody meal guides unless you are a nutritionist. So you can't take, something that works for someone that maybe, let's say, for example, they have diabetes and they went to a nutritionist and a dietitian and they have doctors who help them create this meal plan and they've lost all this weight. You can't take that meal plan and then use it for every single person that comes to you, because it's not based for them in all, general standards. And you also can't just go on Pinterest and find a meal plan that works or says that works and offer that to all of your clients. What you can do is you can open up that meal guide. You can help a customer determine their caloric needs through the Beachbody program guidelines based on the program that they're doing. And you can help them build a meal plan based on those meal guides. So it's okay for you to say, all right, well, Beachbody says that these are good breakfasts for you to have on the 21-day fix. So I think you should have this breakfast and you should have this lunch and this dinner, maybe have your Shakeology as a snack. That's okay for you to do because you're working within your guidelines. It's just not okay for you to just go beyond that if you don't have the licenses that are necessary for that. And I think because we have these great tools with us, we don't even have to, we can confidently not stray there. And we could leave that for the professionals, but we can help people lose weight in a healthy way without going beyond our boundaries, which is great. So these are the basic nutrition principles that I'm going to cover. I'm going to keep it as simple as possible. So for those of you who are doctors or nurses or professionals, remember that I'm trying to keep this as basic for all of us to understand. So there might be things that I skim over because we're trying to keep it basic and to 30 minutes. So we're going to start with carbohydrates. So carbohydrates are not only our body's preferred source of immediate energy, it's also the energy source for the brain and our red blood cells. Carbohydrates also store energy, and in the case of fiber, they help produce improve digestive health and our cholesterol levels. So I'm not going to go very deep into the structure of carbohydrates, but just for you to know that anything that uses the three letters OSE, OS at the end of it, is sugar, is carbs. And the most important thing for you to remember is that our bodies need carbs for energy, for everyday life. If you have a customer or client or challenger that is doing one of our programs, we all know how tough our programs are. And they tell you, I'm just going to cut out all carbs. I'm not going to have any fruits. I'm not going to have any, white beige carbs, like I like to call them. I'm just cutting them all out. I can't have them. I lost weight doing that before. Remember to tell them you need them. They're in the meal plans for a reason. Don't cut them out. They can just pick better choices of carbs. So very briefly, these are some of the things that we would consider carbohydrates. Beige foods is usually like, that's like a term that people who are paleo use, like stay away from the beige foods. Those are like your white breads, your white rice, white pasta, etc. So a common question that you get is people will ask you, well, are carbs stored into fat? Because they immediately think all carbs will be stored into fat, so I must cut out carbs. And the answer, in short, is yes. In very simple terms, carbs are turned into glycogen. Glycogen stores a lot of molecules in it, so they're heavy and bulky. And if you consume more than your body is actually, expelling or using, then they will turn into fat for longer term storage because your body can't store it as carbs, so it stores it as fat. So yes, too much carbs, too much sugar can turn into fat. All right, proteins. So proteins are the major structural components of all muscles. So as you know, a lot of people who are bodybuilders will tell us, or will tell you or whatever, I need more protein in order to build muscle. There is some science to that says, okay, yes, protein forms the major structural components of muscle. It also serves as a transporter of iron, vitamins, minerals, fats, and oxygens within the body, and it helps create antibodies to fight infection. This is where people kind of get things a little bit incorrect. Proteins can be used for energy, but only in situations of energy deprivation. So this is where like a lot of fad diets will come into play, and people will say things again, like, I'm just not going to have carbs so I can like use my proteins for energy. But your body doesn't work that simple. It's not just going to convert protein sources into energy like that. Again, you need a little bit of everything. So preferred energy source is carbs. Secondary would be protein. Our bodies can produce most amino acids, but there are about 8 to 10, which are called essential amino acids that we must consume. Our body can't produce them. Generally speaking, most animal products contain all the essential amino acids, but vegetables do not, with the exception of soy and chia seeds. So when you come across someone who is a vegetarian or is a vegan, remember that, again, our guides have tools to help them consume the appropriate amount of protein, because those folks, if they're just doing it off, in a whim, like people will say things like, well, I'm not losing a lot of weight, so I'm just going to become vegan. They're not doing it because it's their way of life. They're doing it for a purpose of weight loss. It's really important to guide them back to our guides, because otherwise they're not getting the appropriate amount of amino acids, which, again, like I mentioned before, necessary for muscle building, necessary for transport of really essential nutrients through our body. Oops. Okay, so true or false? You cannot eat too much protein. So that's something that always comes around. The answer is false. The body does not really store protein, so it makes sense that most people just say, well, then anything that is consumed in an excess, you're going to excrete it through your urine. However, again, our bodies are not black or white. There's a structure to the way that proteins are made up, right? And so there's a portion of protein that is converted to glucose and therefore can be converted into fat. So too much of it can be stored as fat. So I don't know if you recall or have ever seen someone who is, bulking, for example, and they're eating lots of protein, and maybe they're not doing the workouts as they should. Like, they're not sagi. They're like eating like sagi, but they're not working out like sagi. They actually bulk up, but it's mostly like fat, where it usually sits in the belly area. That's because they're eating too much protein, and they're not, they shouldn't be eating that much anyway, but they're also not exercising for it. So fats. They get such a bad name. They get a bad name because they're the most dense macronutrient, just very simple. There's 9 calories per gram to fat versus 4 calories per gram for carbs and proteins. So a lot of people will just like want to cut fats out of their life because they're denser. But we all know as coaches that there are lots of fats which are heart healthy and should be consumed in moderation, because again, there's just lots of purpose, and there's a reason why we have to eat a little bit of everything. Okay, vitamins and minerals. This is really important for us because our tools truly help people in this area. So vitamins and minerals, vitamins are something that has to be consumed through food. And there's no perfect food that contains all vitamins in just the right amount. If there was, I think that person would become rich. So instead, what doctors recommend is a nutrient, variety of nutrient dense foods that are lower in calorie. So nutrient dense, the definition of nutrient dense sounds very much like our definition of clean eating. This is non-processed foods, eating from the rainbow of foods, etc. The other thing is that when someone's trying to lose weight, a lot of the times they can't, because our country or the way that we believe in weight loss, we usually believe in restricting foods and dieting and cutting things out. Most people who are on a weight loss plan do not consume the correct amount of vitamins they should. And things start to happen. Hair starts to fall out. Skin starts to dry up. Those are just like the outside aesthetic parts. Imagine what's happening on the inside. So we have our solution for that. It's Shakeology. Shakeology helps. I always like to tell people, like, Shakeology helps fill in the gaps of what you're missing. So someone can still eat a low calorie. Maybe they messed up throughout the day, but at least Shakeology has your back. The second thing we have is these meal plans. If you yourself as a coach do not open those guides when you get a program and look through them, you're really doing yourself and your challengers a disservice, because those guides are gold. Hello, whoever that is. Can you please mute yourself?
And where did he get the stuff from?
Where you got the stuff from?
Melissa,
Yeah.
I think you can, if you, since
You're
you're the host, I think you can do it.
And what happened here? Did I draw all of that? How do I do that?
So you go to participants.
Oh, let me stop. I have to stop share. Manage participants.
And then I am fucked, man.
Oh, wow.
Okay, mute.
You got it?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So interesting. So anyway, actually that was the last slide, so I can just talk to you guys. So our where was I? So our meal guides are in a very interesting place because they're in a tiered system. So when you open up, let's say, the 21-day fixed meal guide, the top tier of foods are like the best foods. Usually that's, for example, I always give the fruit example. Blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, all those yummy berries that have lots of nutrients are in the top. Bananas, which have potassium but also have a lot of sugar, are usually at the bottom. So as a coach, one of the things we can do is tell people, and one of the things I did, like my best transformation done completely on my own, because I was in the Size infomercial and that was with assistance. So was my P90X3 transformation. And what I did with that was I opened up the meal guide. I remember Tony Horton saying, like, the top 5 of everything on each list is the best. And I just ate that. I went for the top 5 proteins, top 5 whole grains, top 5 blueberries, top 5 fruits, top 5 everything. I just went for whatever was on the top tier. And that's where you have that low calorie, nutrient density, and that's how you can really help people. So when you have someone who's, you know, in your challenge group, and you can look through what they're eating, and you can look through your guide and go, okay, well, you're eating bananas. Maybe you should try a different fruit. You know, you're having beef instead of, like, ground beef instead of lean turkey. You can see that in the meal guide, and you can see the differences and make substitutions for them. You're not going out of the scope of work at all, and you're helping them understand their guides better. One thing I do with people is once they all open up I repeat like 3 times, please, please, please open up your meal guide. Once they open that up, I used to do it on Zoom, but now you can do it on Facebook Live if you're running your challenge groups on Facebook, or you could do Zoom. I host a let's jump on here and chat call before they go grocery shopping, before like the big day one. And I just have them ask me questions, and we literally open that up together. And I'm like, did you guys see this? Did you guys see this? Because it's overwhelming for people. But once you, as the coach, understand the science behind it all, why they put all of that there, you can really help people, like, make these meals for themselves that are delicious, nutritious, and they're not missing out on anything. They're gonna see their energy spike up. They're gonna, you know, lose pounds, and they're gonna stick with us, which is what we want them to do. And we don't want them to go the route of just going for a pill, or going for, I need to just, you know, eat 600 calories. That's the only way I know how to lose weight. Because we want people to lose weight efficiently. The other thing is that I see a lot in challenge groups is people who want to take, like, the caloric guidelines of the 21-day fix, but they want to do insanity. And I'm like, I'm sorry, honey. If you want to do insanity, you got to eat for insanity. And it's like something like insanity, or any of our really extreme programs, even like Body Beast, the ladies, the Beast Barbies know, you have to eat for that. And a lot of people are afraid to eat for that. But we have to stand by our guides and our products and know that these people that made this up, they're not you and I. They're super smart. They know what they're doing. They've run groups and test groups and tons of groups to see that this stuff works before this gets put together. And we have to make sure that our challengers are doing it. The best way to make sure that they're doing it is that we do it. And I know a lot of times, you know, we fall off as well, but it's always important for us to go back to those guides, follow them to a T, read them, understand them, and come back to our challengers with that information. So that is where I was going to leave off. Yes. I'll look at the chat and see if anybody has questions. You can write your question on there. I'm not going to unmute anybody because there's some serious stuff going on in the conversations when I unmute. So Ephraim, yay. No idea about the top 5 thing. Yeah, I didn't know about it until I remember the call with Tony Horton. And then actually I re-listened in order to prepare for this call. I re-listened to the call with Autumn, which was last week. And she mentions it too, the hierarchy. I know bananas are delicious. And they're good to have sometimes. They're actually, I mean, I tried to cut bananas out once and I started getting cramps in my legs. So they're necessary. They're just like, that's why it says eat half. It's okay to have a banana every day if you're not having like sugar in your coffee. Anybody has questions? Very true. Can you go back to vegetarians? I am lost when it comes to guiding them. Oh, okay. So vegetarians. The biggest concern for vegetarians are going to be carbohydrates and proteins. And it's because a lot of people who are vegetarians will eat too much carbs because they're hungry, right? Most carbs are in the greens for them. Yes. Do you guys have the list? Well, it should be on the 21-day vegetarian thing. There's a list on how to guide vegetarians and vegans. And most vegetarians who are actual vegetarians and are doing their thing, they're going to know how much they need to consume. The real concern is someone who just, from the seat of their pants, just says, I'm going to become a vegetarian because those people look skinny. Which is what happens, right? It happens all the time. I know in my challenge group, people will be like, I want to go this because they look really fit. And it's like, that's when you want to go back and make sure that they understand that if they're going to consume proteins, then they really need to have a variety of vegetables because that's how they're going to get their protein. A variety of legumes because that's how they're going to get their protein. Not just eat a bunch of bread because they think, oh, I'm a vegetarian now. I could do that. So that's really where I was going with the vegetarian part, is the fact that like a lot of people will just flip-flop because they think that, they're going to lose weight because vegetarians look skinny. Anybody else? So everybody's going to open up their meal guides and dissect them. And then go to their challengers and request the same thing. And again, I want to make sure that we understand that we have that it helps us sell what we have. It makes it so different than everybody else because, I'm not familiar with all of the weight loss things that are out there, but I do know that a lot of them are like, all their answers are just like cut calories. They don't have the meal guides that we have. They don't have Shakeology that we have with all the vitamins and all the minerals in it. Yeah, exactly. And we can sell that to people when people ask us, how come we're different? How are we different than other weight loss programs? You can say, well, we have a complete way for you to lose weight, stay healthy. And then they're going to look at these things and go, yeah, but that looks difficult. And that's where we say, well, I got this down. I can help you, and you can help them through it, instead of just letting them kind of go on their own. I think a lot of people stray and throw the guide. Like, I know people who be like, oh, I don't even know where it is. And it's like, that's really where we can come in as a coach and walk them along. Yay. All right, I think we're done then. Okay, so I got done in time. I hope this was helpful to you, and we'll talk next time. Bye, guys.